welcome to another episode of United Technologies presents Transforming Cities, Transforming India in partnership with CNBC TV 18 and moneycontrol.com. Today on the show, we're discussing our response to natural as well as medical emergencies. Seconds can make a huge difference. Air evacuation has proved to be one of the most swift and effective means to respond to an emergency in the developed world. Do we in India have a reliable fleet of private helicopters and aircrafts up and running? Or do we fall back upon our armed forces as always for assistance? This week, we meet experts from the aviation and medical industry to assess how ready we are when disaster strikes. On the show today, we have Dr. Naresh Trehan, the Chairman and Managing Director of Medanta. Dr. Naresh Trehan is one of the leading and most successful cardiologists in the country and also happens to operate an air ambulance service for his patients. We also reach out to Dr. Sunil Dubey, the Senior Manager of Operations of Flying Doctors at Medanta. He shares his insight on how air ambulance services could be made cheaper and popular as an option. Also joining us on the show is retired Air Vice Marshal Arvind Walia. He's the Regional Executive of India and South Asia of Sikorsky Aircraft Corporation. And last but not the least, expert inputs coming in from retired Air Vice Marshal K. Sridharan, the President of the Rotary Wing Society of India.
Flying Doctors India is India's first provider for air ambulance and medical evacuation services. Envisioned by the Chairman and Managing Director of Medanta, Dr. Naresh Trehan, this institution was founded in 2009 to extend world-class healthcare services to those living away from the urban mainstream.
Because there are people who are dying for lack of that expertise in remote areas where they cannot be brought by land, then the only options were helicopter and a fixed wing depending on the distance.
In 2013 we established our Flying Doctors India, and which is better in quality in terms of if you compare with the earlier system what we had and to this new system where we have already equipped state-of-the-art aircraft which is ready to fly, especially for the patients all the time, and there is no modification what we are doing like makeshift arrangements.
So we then decided that we will first tackle the distance one, the propeller one, fixed wing, and create a intensive care unit in that aircraft so that we could carry out all the resuscitative measures for a very sick patient and bring them to the hospital. So this has worked very well for us.
We have dedicated advanced life support stretcher, monitor, and all these approved FAA approved equipments, and our doctors who are trained, our doctors have done other individual more than 200 calls, and our every call we send a super specialist for the call, anesthesia and critical care and the surgeons and cardiologists. And if there is for example, if there is a child of 1 day old, so we are and with the cardiac anomaly, so we try to send a pediatric cardiologist.
We have found that those terminally ill patients who we were able to evacuate from all over the place, they have more than 80% of them have survived.
We can say easily we receive a call a day, and we can do maximum we have done maximum around 5 calls in a day, in many multiple occasions, this month also, and there are 5 calls in a day. So this is what we are doing in a maximum, and till now we have done around approximately 1100 something calls by using our aircraft.
So I think this kind of connectivity is very important for our country where local treatments are not available.
We have done same day liver transplants, we have done many times the procedures, surgeries, interventions, gastro intervention, patients are bleeding, and we have done procedures like stop the bleeding and to saving life.
There are 3 rings. First, the ambulance ring, where if it is 100, 150, 200 kilometers, good. Then from 3 to 500 kilometers, the fixed wing or helicopter, depending on whether there are facilities to land the plane. Because some of the problems are that many areas you can't land the plane fixed wing, so then a helicopter works. And helicopter, unfortunately, is more expensive than fixed wing. So it's not used as frequently as fixed wing, but now it's getting more and more because people are realizing the benefit of it. People are realizing that the amount they have to spend is worth it because it may save a good chance that it will save the person's life.
We have leased out the aircraft from a reputed airline private charter company, and we have converted the aircraft into the modular air ambulance.
On our side, we are trying to keep it as affordable as possible, so that this is the good part of flying doctors, that we have reduced or contained the cost for the patient. So we try to help the patient so that they can. So it's difficult in the sense that yes, it is not almost like not for profit. If you cover your expenses, you're okay. But what is gratifying is that if we are flying in 300-400 ourselves over here a year and saving 80-85% of the lives, I think any effort, any amount of money spent is worth it, because these were very sick patients and they survived. And we have trauma patients. Like yesterday, we have five patients who come from Uttaranchal, a family of 5, who were in a very bad accident. Each one has had to undergo some surgery or the other. But because they could fly in here, they would not have survived on the road. So they could fly in here. I think all of them will be saved. So I think there is some effort to be made to contain the cost, to improve the facilities, and to provide more and more access points, like if it's for helicopter or for a fixed wing. This should be factored into all our future planning, including the smart cities that we talked about.
On that note, it's time for a short break. On the other side, we get to know just how feasible it is to operate air ambulance services in India. What are the hurdles and how can they be overcome? Stay tuned.
The growth of civil helicopter in the country has been very restricted. It's only in '85 we got some boost of when Helicopter Corporation of India was formed. Now it is known as Pawan Hans. So at this point of time, we have just about 277 helicopters, civil helicopters in the country. And I would say of it, what is more relevant to us is 200 of them are for commercial usage. This figure, in fact, is very, when you look at it in per capita way, we have one helicopter for 43 lakh of people, whereas if you look at the neighborhood, many developing countries such as Brazil, Mexico, etc., they have a better per capita helicopter.